While much of California is dropping coronavirus restrictions, a group of frontline workers is being left behind in the reopening. Inmate firefighters are still being denied visitations, and family members are pleading for prisons to change the restrictions. The incarcerated workers put their lives on the line in hopes of reducing their sentences, and this year's fire season forecast is severe. Our investigative partners at iNewsSource looked into the situation. Joining me now, as she does every Tuesday, to talk more about it is investigative reporter Mary Plummer. Mary, thanks for joining us. What's the big issue here? Why aren't these firefighting inmates being allowed visitors?
You know, it's interesting. Overall, statewide, Carlo, there has been a lot of confusion and challenges for family members who are seeking to visit relatives who are incarcerated in California state prisons. And my colleague Jill Castellano found that the rules appear to be the most restrictive for inmate firefighters. Prisons up and down the state began allowing for in-person visits over the past couple months, but these inmate firefighters that you mentioned weren't allowed to have visitors at the fire camps where they've been living and working. It's a really unique program. The inmates make between $2 to $5 a day and an additional $1 a day when they're fighting fires. They play a really key role here in California in helping fight some of the state's major wildfires, I should say. But right now, they're only allowed to have weekly video calls with approved family members. The Corrections Department says it is in the final stages of developing a plan to resume visits at fire camps, but they have not given a timeline as to when that will start.
This is a real burden on them. They're in isolation. They're out there fighting fires as well, doing this job. This hurts them, but this has to hurt their family members as well, who haven't been able to see them for over a year in some cases, I'd imagine.
That's right. Family members told us that the lack of visitation really has them worried. It's causing a lot of stress. Firefighting is challenging. It certainly is dangerous work. So the worries for families are quite significant here. One family member told us she didn't understand why the same precautions used in other settings wouldn't be adequate here. She said that she would be willing to follow vaccination rules, testing in advance, whatever was needed. So there's a real sense among some of these family members that this policy is just unfair. And then on top of that, advocates have long said that maintaining family relationships is key for incarcerated people who will re-enter the community once they've served their time. It helps increase the likelihood of success for those who will be re-entering the workforce, for example.
Yeah, these are people who are trying to do better. They're trying to get out sooner, and they're offering a service for this. Now, these firefighters, they already have a tough job, but this year, a number of factors promise to make it even tougher. Isn't that right?
That's right. I mean, the fire numbers so far this year are quite high. The outlook is not great. When it comes to inmate firefighters, there's actually a shortage of staff statewide right now. And then on the fire risk side, the number of fires this year is far outpacing last year, which had a record-breaking year last year. CAL FIRE has responded to more than 3,500 burns so far, and the state is forecast to have above normal fire risk, Carlo, through September.
Our state needs every tool it can find to do this optimally, to battle fires in a tough situation. Mary Plummer from iNewsSource, we thank you for this report, giving some insight to this key component and how they're being treated. Again, it's inewssource.org. We urge our viewers to check them out.